I am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk. We will be doing our commentary today about the ladies of The View. This was the second day for guest co-hosting of Tara Setmayer. She was on for 2 days. Yesterday, which was Monday, November the 15th, and today being Tuesday, November the 16th, after over 3 to 4 years where she allegedly had been banned from being a guest co-host or being able to be on The View because of the former co-host, John McCain's daughter, who recently left The View at the end of season 24. And I want to do our commentary because the ladies talked about President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. It says White House defends VP Harris amidst critical press as President plans to sign his historic and popular infrastructure bill. His approval rating hit a new low, and Vice President Harris is under the microscope as well. The co-host and Tara Setmayer discussed. So we're going to listen to this 7 minutes and 19 seconds clip with the ladies discussing. After we listen to the clip, I'm going to come back with something that Tara Setmayer said that I wrote down, and I have to say she made perfect sense, and I'm in agreement. So let's listen to this clip.
President Biden is signing his historic and popular infrastructure bill, but apparently his poll numbers are at their lowest, and his vice president is under the microscope as well. The White House just defended her against reports that there's infighting and frustration with her performance, and that they're all on the same team. So what is happening here? What's going on?
I feel as though Joe Biden's getting the blame for things that he really doesn't have that much control over. He doesn't control gas prices, correct me if I'm wrong. Inflation is something that's happening all over the world, is very much related to the pandemic that we're still in. The supply, what do you call that? The supply chain is held up because of COVID. You know, and yet he can't go door to door and give people vaccinations. He's telling people to do it, and yet he seems to be getting all the blame because it's on his watch.
Well, he's having to fix something that was already divided, and you can't sew that back together. What he got, it was handed to him politicized.
Yeah, but he's getting the blame for it.
No, I understand. I'm just saying.
Blame the previous administration, blame COVID, blame worldwide inflation, but why blame the guy? I don't get it.
He's the bully pulpit is with him, right? The buck stops with the president.
Yeah.
And whether it's fair or not, in politics, perception is reality. And if he is the guy who's leading the country, then all of the country's woes fall to him. People are looking to him, all right, now you need to fix it. Are there things that he can do to change inflation overnight? Not overnight, but with gas prices and energy policy, those are things that he could fix. Open up the strategic reserves. There are ways that
Is that good for the environment, what you just said?
There are people who will argue whether that is or isn't, but in the immediate future, right, most people are not saying, is this good for the environment now if I give up a certain amount of CO2? They're looking at it's $4 a gallon to fill up my tank, and it's the kitchen table issues, whether that's fair or not, but that as Americans, it's what, how does it impact my pocket and my family? So, are there things that he could do? Yes. They opened up the supply chain, trying to, with the ports and policies there to try to, unplug that, because that backup is part of the problem, but that's also inherited from the Trump administration. But if you have to explain all of this, then you're losing.
Yeah.
And people don't have attention spans long enough to go through all of that, and Republicans exploit this really well.
Yeah.
They're masters at consolidating things into a bumper sticker and manufacturing outrage, and so it's Biden's fault, he's Jimmy Carter, and Biden and his team, they must get tougher on this to fight back and explain what he's doing to help the American
Well, he's
people.
trying to do that now.
But I think what's so interesting is that's what we're talking about early Monday morning, when today he's signing the infrastructure bill, right? There have been so many big wins, especially because we have had people are being vaccinated, people are getting the booster shot. The infrastructure bill just got passed, and that's a big deal. And instead of talking about that, we're talking about his approval rating, and we're especially talking about Kamala Harris's approval rating being 10 points lower than his approval rating. And I think that really speaks to where our country is. Let's come down on the woman who happens to be the first female vice president that we've ever had in this country's history, which is ridiculous that it's the first woman that we've had, but incredible. And I think the reason that she's getting so much I guess ire from the right and from all over the country is because not only she's a woman, she's been giving these tests that are just what is she supposed to do with immigration?
But I
What
don't
is she supposed to do
Pence
with
getting
that?
this kind of
No,
bad
That was
press.
going to be my point.
Yeah.
No,
It's
he
just-
hasn't.
you know, when you know who spent $1 billion, nobody said boo.
Right.
No.
He pissed that money away, okay? Gave it to people who knows where it went. Now, Pence, I don't remember. I don't know what he did. I know what he did at the end.
On his face.
But, yeah, because, you don't really hear a lot about what the vice president is doing.
Generally,
you just
you don't.
generally don't.
But that's on purpose,
But-
Whoopi.
Yes.
Right? So
Right.
the vice president traditionally plays second fiddle. You don't want to upstage the president.
Right.
Yeah.
And, with all due respect to Kamala Harris and the history that she made, just because you made history doesn't give you a pass. There are certain things that she has done that, trying to kind of figure her way out in the job that hasn't helped the situation.
Well, and I
28% disapproval isn't just the right. So, when you run your campaign, there's an old adage in politics, you can get an idea of how someone will govern based on how they run their campaign. And there were some issues even in her campaign that it seemed to have translated over to the management style in the vice president's office. And people like the palace intrigue, unfortunately. It's a good story.
But
I don't
giving her,
know-
let me jump in here real quick.
Yeah, she's in a tough spot. They inherited a lot
I
of
think
problems.
giving the immigration was something Biden did because President Obama had given it to him.
Right.
Going at root causes is different than putting her and saying there are some border things we can deal with, whether it's the registration of people all the social workers, the lawyers. There's so many things you could actually fix at the border. And they said, no, go in and find the root causes. That's like existential questions of like problems in many countries. That's like an unsolvable problem. I know she
30
asked.
years they've been trying to solve immigration.
Clearly, President Biden didn't fix it when he was there either. I mean, it's a long time coming. But I think that it's tough because, and I wanted to ask you about this being in the White House. One frustration I have with the vice president, and I don't think it's up to her, is we don't see her. So to me, when you don't, as Huma Abedin said, when you're here, if you don't write your story, someone else will. That
That's right.
perception becomes reality.
That's true.
They seem to be keeping her away, which allows people to be frustrated because I want to hear from her.
I
But
think
she's not supposed to be heard from, right? She's supposed to
It's a
be the
balance.
supporting actor.
Yeah.
And I think that is intentional. She's trying to be the good vice president. She doesn't want to upstage the
Well,
president.
Cheney wasn't
That's been
like
her
that.
plan.
Cheney wasn't the
He was
good
the
boy.
exception. He was the exception.
He was the
when he was a very
exception.
He actually
proactive
thought he
vice
was
president.
president.
Yeah.
And many people say he was running the show.
Well, he probably was. Listen, I think the bottom line, I'm going to say it quick. I think the bottom line is very simple. If you really want to know what's going on, don't wait for the polls to tell you. If you want to know how things are going to change, don't wait for the television talking heads to tell you, oh, this is what's going to happen. He's been there less than a year. Think about what he's done. Think about where we came from. Think about what he's done. Here you don't see him around because this guy's actually working. He's actually working. You don't see a lot of Kamala Harris because whether we like the outcome of the things she's doing something. She's
Just
working.
came back from France.
Everybody's
It was a wonderful
working.
trip.
They loved her.
Yeah,
They
so
loved her there.
Biden,
Why aren't we
Biden
talking
is what I
about that?
call presidenting. This
Yeah,
is what you
he's
do.
president.
He's presidenting.
That's right.
It's what like adulting.
Yeah.
This is what actually governing looks like in the adult world.
I
So
like that.
Yeah,
So
when you're
keep on
working.
presidenting. You all can use that. They can use that
yes,
too, right?
absolutely.
Yeah. He's presidenting and I'm going.
Moderating.
Okay, that was the ladies of the View, and this was on yesterday's episode where they were talking about President Biden and Vice President Harris, and really all the ladies made great points. But what I wanted to, something that Tara Setmayer said that I had wrote down and want to kind of just speak about. Just because she made history doesn't give her a pass. I have to say I agree, and that was a very good point to make. As Sonny mentioned, and as we all know, we have the first woman vice president. Not only the first woman vice president, but the first Black African American vice president. So yes, that is history that has been made. But let me put my little perspective in regards to Vice President Harris. Just like former President Barack Obama was the first African American to be president, he called pure HELL simply because he was the first Black African American to hold the highest position in the United States of America because of the color of his skin, being black. Our country has been founded where before President Obama, all we had was white old men. White men. You didn't see a person of color. And now President Biden did something that really made the right kick against him. Because as we know, so many of them still supporting the former guy, twice impeached, one-term president that put a hit on America. And because President Biden chose to ask a black woman, a woman of color, to be his VP, she's going to get the backlash. She's going to get a lot of the same treatment and rejection, resistance from the right wing. And I do understand there's some Democrats too that's not necessarily happy with her. But as a whole, she's going to get the pushback, all of the, again, as much negativity as possible, simply because she's a woman doing the second highest job in the land of the United States of America, being the VP, Vice President. And to add insult to injury to that because she's a black African American woman. We have to be real. But no, she don't get a pass simply because she's made history. And we are very proud of her. I'm proud of her as an African American woman myself. But we have to just speak to the core issues. Like many of the ladies said, you got to look at what they inherit. President Biden and Vice President Harris, they came in which we're still in a pandemic. Now over 700,000 American lives have been lost to COVID-19. He's trying to ask all Americans to get the vaccine. They give let it be known, it's not saying that you still can't contract COVID or you still can't die, but because the CDC guidelines are letting us know, has informed me, the American people, of the importance of getting this vaccine. But he can only do so much. And let me also add into here, my fair use disclaimer will be in my when I upload this video, it will be noted in the description. Fair use, section 107, Copyright Act of 1976, where I can give my points and views with or without permission to the copyright holder or payment. That's I am a Marsha Lewis disclaimer. Continuing on. Also, like I say, Sonny mentioned it. There's a lot that they having to do because of what they inherit. Whoopi spoke on it. Then, as they also made points, Sonny and Sara, and Tara, the VP is that. The VP. She isn't the president. And she's not supposed to be out front and center stage. That's supposed to be the president of the United States, which is Joe Biden. The 46th president, Joe Biden. And she is to be there to be at his side to help lead our country, to help lead the present presidential administration. She can't come. She's not supposed to be out there to outshine him or to act, as they mentioned. I think it was Whoopi that said Dick Cheney acted as if he was the president, and Sonny made the mention. It had been said, and we've heard this in many other presidential administration where, say, maybe VP, or maybe like I think with Hillary and Bill Clinton, she may have been presidential, or they had said if she would have won, Bill Clinton would have had a third term. You hear a lot of stuff behind the scene. That's just what comes with it. And also, Tara made another point, because Joy has said, well, why is it they're going after him so much? And like she mentioned, it's because it's on his watch. He was pointing to her watch, but not necessarily meaning a physical watch, but because he is the current president. And Tara made the point, hey, not that it's necessarily fair, but that's what comes with it. Because he is the leader of our free world, of the United States of America, people are going to put everything on him. Things that they like, things that they don't like. It comes with the job. It comes with the territory. And again, he holds the highest position in the United States of America. He's our president. So I just had I thought, again, this was a very good conversation that the ladies had. It was good. And that was, again, from yesterday's episode when Tara Setmayer was on the show, guest co-hosting. She did a beautiful job both days, yesterday as well as today. And who knows, I think she will be a good person. Between her and Anna Navarro, good voices in regards to that conservative voice that they're looking to fill for the View. So this is our today's commentary, and I am LaMarsha Lewis on Let's Talk.